is up, you guys? Film Fan 0599 here again. Welcome back to Blank Years Later, where we talk about a film, television show, and or video game. And basically, how many years, however many years it's been since that certain thing. We talk about kind of like if my opinion has changed or the long-lasting impact that this certain thing has. And today is a pretty big one, actually. Today, we are going to be talking about Star Wars 40 years later. It has been 40 years since the original Star Wars film. That is just insane to think about. It's been 40 years since the original Star Wars movie, and obviously I wasn't around when the original Star Wars came out, but man, has this movie, along with, the others in the trilogy, have really had a long-lasting impact on me. There was some of the first films I ever saw. I've always been invested in the world of Star Wars, and this is the one that started it all. This is the one that got Star Wars, made Star Wars a household name. And it's just incredible to see how much that this film has had such a lasting impact on not only my life, but so many other people's lives, and just in the world of film and just in general. Just because back in the day, 1977, nobody thought this was going to be a big hit. Nobody thought, a movie about people in space, something called Star Wars, what a stupid title, this is not going to do well. And look, Jaws started the summer blockbuster, but I think Star Wars expanded upon it. It took that, summer blockbuster and just ran with it. I really do think so. And this movie, it was such a massive hit when it first came out. It really was. It was such a ginormous, massive hit when it first came out. And man, look, everybody was wrong. So many studios, denied it. They were like, oh, this is not going to do well. And look, it made so much money. And, it just has such a lasting impact. And really the big reason we got to thank for this is George Lucas. Sure, the guy made a couple of mistakes with the prequels and everything, but come on now. We have to thank him. If it wasn't for his imagination and his vision for this, for this universe, we wouldn't have it. It wouldn't be here. We have to thank him the most, because without his vision, Star Wars would have never been a thing. Star Wars would have never been existed, So we have to thank George Lucas the most out of anybody, because without him, Star Wars would be nothing. So, yeah, so I would like to thank you, Mr. George Lucas, for making something very, very, very spectacular. Something very different and very spectacular for its time. It was really great, and it still holds up even to this day. And let's I'll talk more about its impact in a little bit, but I want to talk about the movie for a second. Let's talk about the actual film. Star Wars, I do think, is a really great movie. It is, without question, one of the greatest movies ever made. It is a fantastic sci-fi film. It really sets up what's going to be so large, even larger in some other with other sequels and everything. It just sets up something quite amazing. And it's very complex, this movie. It's a very complex film. Its characters are some of the best characters you're ever going to see on screen, with characters like Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, and just some incredible characters, and you're very invested in all those characters. They have very different personalities from each other, and you just love them. Heck, you love droids for goodness sake, like C-3PO and R2-D2. They even have personalities to each other, and they're dang droids. It's just incredible. All these characters are so amazing, and I think, in terms of cinematic heroes, I think Luke Skywalker is the greatest cinematic hero of all time. Just the way he goes from, in this movie, to be, just a regular old farm boy. Then when you get to in Return of the Jedi, he is the hero. He is the Jedi hero. And it's just so incredible seeing how his journey starts in this movie and how it ends with Return of the Jedi is so incredible. I absolutely love how, you know, he is to me the greatest cinematic hero of all time. He just from his journey from this movie and how he ends up in Return of the Jedi is quite incredible, and it's honestly the best hero story I've ever seen, because he goes from, like I said, being just this regular old farm boy to becoming the hero is quite incredible to me. And seeing that journey in all three movies was spectacular. And just the character of Luke Skywalker is so well written and so incredible. I love him in this movie and all the other films as well. This movie to me also has the greatest cinematic villain of all time in Darth Vader. This man, just the first introduction you see with him in this movie, it's the greatest introduction I've ever seen to a villain. He literally just walks in, and you know, you just feel his presence. Like, you feel like, yeah, this guy is menacing. Like, you feel his presence. Like, you feel it. Like, he makes you, like, feel his presence in this movie. And that's incredible to me. He is such a menacing villain, and just really, really, really fantastic. I love Darth Vader so much. He's not only my favorite villain of all time, but he's honestly my favorite Star Wars character of all time. He's just so complex, and like I said, you know, when you see, like, when you watch the prequels, you see how Anakin was manipulated, turned to the dark side, and now he is one of the biggest forces of evil in, you know, in the dark side, and it's just incredible to see. Like, it really is. And just Darth Vader has that presence that I think no other villain in cinematic history has. You know, you got villains like the Joker and stuff like that, but, like, I think there's no other villain to me that has that presence, or that, you know, that menacing presence like Darth Vader. And I think no other villain will ever have that menacing presence that Darth Vader has, because, man, is he great. And James Earl Jones does a fantastic job voicing Darth Vader. He really does. He brings that menacing, you know, that very menacing power to him, and he's absolutely incredible. So yeah. Just all the other characters up as well, like Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, they're all great as well. Han Solo just kind of just this laid back dude that just, you know, just is incredible. He's just such a laid back dude, and he's just so awesome. He's just such a cool guy. Chewbacca, although he does, he's great. He really is. The camaraderie with Han Solo is some of the best, you know, back and forth I've seen between two characters. Like, one of the best duos I've ever seen in film history. Like, it's so incredible. They're great together. And Princess Leia, who's without question one of the greatest female characters of all time, really was the first really female character to really get her hands dirty, because this came out about 2 years before Alien. So this was really the first female character that I think really took control of her own, and really, you know, showed that, you know, she's not no damsel in distress, she can handle herself, and it's great. And, you know, Carrie Fisher does a really great job as this character, and really portraying this character very well. So I do think Princess Leia is an incredible character as well. So yeah, just all the characters are great. Like, Alec Guinness as Ben Kenobi is fantastic as well. Like, he's just, you know, a great Jedi Master, and without question, definitely one of the best characters in Star Wars as well. The directing by George Lucas is fantastic. He really does make you feel like you're in this world of Star Wars and everything. He really does make you feel like you're in this world. It's so fantastic. The production on this thing is incredible. Like, the production design is very fantastic. Cinematography is gorgeous with this movie. Just everything he does with this movie is quite incredible to me. So yeah, and the action sequences are great too. Like, you're very invested, you're very scared because you care about these characters. You're very scared of what's going to happen to them, and it's quite great. I love the action sequences. Just everything about this movie to me is perfect. There's not one thing to me in this movie that is not good, because literally this is one of the definitions of a perfect movie. It's literally a perfect film. It seriously is. It's so incredible. It really is. Star Wars, without question, is one of the greatest films ever made. I love Star Wars so much. It's definitely such a fantastic movie, and the fact that it's had this much of a lasting impact 40 years later, like, and the fact that people are still talking about it, we're still getting more movies out of it. Heck, we got The Last Jedi coming out in December, and just the fact that, you know, a new generation, that more and more generations can get to, you know, experience this film franchise. You know, it's just incredible to me, because Star Wars deserves it. It really is truly the greatest franchise of all time. Like, it really is. Like, it's some of the greatest films ever made. I mean, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, some of the greatest movies of all time. It's so fantastic, this franchise, and I'm so happy that it's still going strong even 40 years later after the initial first release of the original movie, and it's just so great. Like, it was big back then, but it's even bigger now, and I couldn't be more happy about that. It's so incredible. Star Wars, just so fantastic. There's no more words I could say, or really, because I've said everything I need to say already, because Star Wars is just simply that. Incredible. It's a fantastic movie, and overall just a fantastic franchise. And like I said, I couldn't be more happier that the fact that this legacy of this franchise is still going. So yeah. So that was that was Blank Years Later on Star Wars. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And what do you think of Star Wars? And what do you think of the whole franchise of just Star Wars? And just the fact, and do you have any memories with Star Wars? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm Film Fan 0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.